So this market's been putting us under so much pressure, especially the altcoin traders. We've been feeling the heat, but BTC is now hovering around a 786. It's sitting on a nice little support level, and we've seen these alts responding on some solid support zones. So let's look at a plan today. How are we going to play this? Is there going to be more pain coming? There might be. So we need to have a plan. How are we going to exit these things? If we do need to buy lower, we're going to figure this all out today. I'm looking at Sol, AVAX, Phantom. Then I've got some AI plays. I've got some gaming plays as well for you guys. I've got plans on those things. I've got a couple of small caps that you may be interested in as well. So we got stacks to talk about today. And don't panic. Never panic. There's always a plan here. Let's take a look. So another mixed bag again on Banter Bubbles, giving us some pain, but Phantom is dominating. We got Sonic launching on Phantom. Apparently now, you know, it's an old, what do we call it? An old Volkswagen Beetle. And now they've put a new engine in, and now suddenly everyone's buying Phantom. It's just hit $1 in the last, in the last few minutes. It's just pinged that. But a lot of red everywhere. But what we have noticed now, the bleeding has slowed down a little bit. We're having a short-term bounce. Is this going to be something that leads to something bigger? Well, we're going to look at all of this now today, but it's not pleasant. Okay, looking at Solana. I mean, you guys know I'm sitting in a Sol trade. I mean, we were peaking there at 204 at that big resistance area. Today, I think we went sub 170 at sub point today. We were sweating bullets. I mean, a lot of the guys in the Sniper Club and everything, they were saying, no, we got to take shorts and all these things. But we must never panic. We never panic. Especially when some of these altcoins are sitting on big support. So what we're going to look at here, let's see where we are right now with BTC. Let's just break this thing down and try and understand what are they doing to us? What is their plan? And the first thing you always need to look for is when we've got some kind of BTC meltdown, you've got to look at the corresponding support levels on your altcoins, on your favorite altcoins that you are trading. If those corresponding support levels are tying in with BTC on a big support level, then you know you potentially going to get some kind of reaction, some kind of move in that area. And even better, if you start seeing dominance dumping when BTC is hovering around these areas, then you know that your alts are going to get some kind of relief move. Even if it's short term, it could be a very short-lived bounce. It could be a few percent only. But these often give you opportunities just to think straight and get more level-headed and start making decisions instead of panicking along the way down. So I'm going to teach you guys a couple of things today and a strategy on how to exit some tokens and things like that if you're feeling the pressure, and when not to exit the tokens. So first thing we want to look at here is just understand what is BTC giving us today. And we lost our major support that we were watching. So 64,800, this was a major support zone. You can see we had a very strong bounce off this area in the last couple of days. It's been a great zone for us. But what happened now? We've lost major support. So what does that tell us? That tells us this is now potentially a resistance area. This is an area where we need to exercise caution now. So we can't get excited about BTC until we start breaking a nice big resistance area. So right now, we've had a bounce in an obvious zone. It's a 786 fib pull. For those of you that trade fibs, you understand the science. For those that you don't trade fibs, well, I don't know how to explain it, but this shit just works and it's magical when you pull these things on your chart. So I would highly recommend getting some fibs on your chart. So right now, support we're watching for BTC is the low, is the move onto that 786. So it's 62,300. That is your support marker for the day. That is what you want to keep your eyes on here. 62,300 resistance, tight little range here. 64,800. What is the plan if BTC pushes up? Well, the first thing you're going to be looking for, well, the bears are going to be looking for a couple of shorts and things like that. We're going to see how those bears fare when we do get this opportunity. But this is going to be a resistance area. This is potentially where you're going to get your rejection and potentially your next move to some lower levels. Okay, so if this market is going to stay a little bit bearish, we're going to be looking at this existing downtrend that's in play at the moment, and we're going to be saying, well, the trend is your friend, and all these types of phrases and all these things, and you can trade the trend until the trend breaks. And right now we're in a downtrend, so we need to assume that if we pump into a resistance zone, we could potentially be getting some more downside. What is the bull case here? Well, the bull case here is if you didn't grab the long off the nice little bounce off the 786 support, your next potential opportunity for a long with conviction is going to be something along these lines. We're going to have to pop that resistance zone, and we're going to have to confirm some kind of support in this 618 region. So this is going to be, call it, say, 64,500. If we can pop that region and get some kind of support, then the game plan is going to change. The game plan is going to change on these altcoins that I'm going to show you that are also sitting in downtrends, and they're going to potentially blowing their trends, and then we can start aping in and doing all the fun shit that we like to do when alts are pumping. But right now, for the current situation, we need to exercise caution. Okay, we need to understand where we are in the current market, where we are in this current move, and how do we plan this. So the first lesson I want to teach you guys, and we're going to touch on it more, is that by the time you're thinking that you want to enter into a short in the market, so this morning, put yourself 3 hours ago. Okay, say you're a new trader, you haven't been trading too much, and the market's melting down, and the first thing you want to do now when the market is melting down is you want to start opening shorts. Well, that's the wrong reaction. Okay, the best time to be opening a short is when the market is pumping, and the worst time to be opening a short is when the altcoins have been bleeding 15-20% and they're sitting on major supports. You are asking for trouble here. So anybody who shorted in the last couple of hours has been shorting on major support here on these altcoins, and now you are feeling the deep burn of a bit of a squeeze while these things send you higher. So when I'm saying to you guys, don't sell your altcoins, I'm saying don't sell them on major support areas. You want to sell the pumps at resistance areas. Those are the places. If you feel that this market is going deeper and the market's going darker, you want to be selling these altcoins on their bounces of strong support zones. You don't want to be selling the absolute bottom and then these alts bounce 5%, 10%, and you could have got out at a higher price. So I'm going to show you the game plan here and all these types of levels that you can work with on these altcoins if you are looking to exit. For me personally, I have a plan here, and we've got a nice mixed bag of trades. We've got margin, we've got spot, we've got leverage. The high leverage stuff is obviously very difficult to sit in on major drawdowns. The margin stuff is a little bit simpler, and the spot guys, well, you guys just chill. Okay, you guys just relax. Don't panic. I know Uncle Run is telling some guys to sell all their tokens and things, but the spot guys, I would just relax. I would watch the big areas and, just exercise caution and understand the big levels. And I'm going to show you some very big levels today that you can play with, and we can build you a strategy on some of your tokens. So let's just jump through some of the news. I mean, I'm loving this. Okay. Remember, every time you sell your Bitcoin, you're selling it to this dude. Okay. He owns 1% of all the 21 million tokens that will ever exist. And look how he's looking at you right now. Okay, if you sold your Bitcoin this morning and you panic sold, look him in the eyes now. He's looking at you, and he's the one. He's grabbed your Bitcoin. He's saying thank you. He's saying thank you very much. And I'm just loving this. Now, can you imagine the guys in suits and all the ETF guys that think like crypto is a complete scam and all this stuff? Now they've just invested in their ETF. Okay, and this thing's pumped, and they've been waving their P&Ls to their friends and doing all these things. They've never experienced the rush of a BTC bull market. And now these guys, I mean, I'm just absolutely loving this. Imagine how these guys are feeling at this time. You know, they used to 5% drawdowns and things like that. And then there's like hardened guys like us. We know this is just part of the process. A 50% dump is absolutely nothing. It's a walk in the park for us. And, we bulletproof with regards to these things. And just some interesting news. I tweeted this earlier. Go follow me on Twitter at the Lord of Entry. And I've really upped my Twitter game. I'm trying to give you guys as much alpha as possible during the day as well. So not just on my show, I'm trying to give you guys some things to work with on my Twitter feed. So go follow me at the Lord of Entry, and we can see this funding heat rate map that I always look at is nice and clean. You look on the right hand side, it's nice and light green, and we got a clean slate here. It's not hot, it's not frothy, and things are starting to tee up at some point for the bulls again to start getting involved. Now, if you look at the current state of these altcoins, there's been massive drawdowns. Some of them have done 30-40% from the top and all these types of things. But what's interesting to me here is the current BTC situation. So if we look at the bull run from early January, now I know Uncle Run also likes to use this chart or this example, and the average pullback we've had in this bull run is just over 20%. Okay, so call it 21, 22%. And right now, we've only seen 15% 15% drawdown. Now, what does that mean to us? I mean, is that telling us we potentially going lower? And I think, yes, I think we need to understand that the bigger picture might want to send us lower down. An average of 20% is perfectly acceptable. And that's going to tie us in nicely with quite a few other levels. And you can see the guys on Twitter are now also speculating with various levels. Here's a guy, 𝗪𝗔𝗫𝗦. You can follow him on Twitter as well. Nice little chartist. He's in our Banter newsroom, actually, dropping some great charts and things like that. So if you guys are on Banter Bubbles, you can listen to the newsroom and all those types of things. And we got researchers and chartists and all these things on there. And Bernie dropped quite a cool chart today. And he was targeting 55K as a potential level. And I found that very interesting. So we're going to look at that 55K target. And then I've got this guy, 𝗪𝗔𝗔𝗫𝗪, and he likes 51K. As a potential level, and also 56K. Well, he's saying the ETF buyers entered at 56K. Okay, so you know those guys, they break even at 56K. So we're going to have to see how they're going to deal with things. And now let's look how this translates into the bigger picture for BTC. Well, it's quite a simple picture because we still haven't hit my main region. Okay, my first zone of interest for me. And I've been talking about this one for probably a week or two now. We've been looking at the 60K region. Anything down from 60K down to about 59K is hot zone number one. And every time you see me on the show, I'm drawing the same picture on the same charts. It's the same weekly time frame. This is a very slow mover, but we need to understand in the grand scheme of things, if we get a pullback into the zone, it's perfectly acceptable here to come and ping the 60K region, 59, anything along these lines can be acceptable, and we can't be upset about it. We've had such a nice run here, and a little pullback makes perfect sense. And then Bernie's level is 55, and that is bang on, well, a little bit under the 50-day moving average. Okay, so we can see that's a lovely little area here for BTC. So 50-day moving average, we know how these alts and how BTC and everything loves the 50-day MA, and here it is. So 56K, very, very plausible level for us. And where does that take us from the top? So if we go from the highs to the lows, that's roughly 23-24% potential drawdown. Now remember, this 50-day MA will drift higher as the days go by. So let's call it 22% is a potential target there for us. So call it 56 to 57K would take us to the average drawdown that we've experienced since January 2023. So that's more than reasonable here. And obviously, we're going to feel some pressure on these altcoins. And let's say if this is the move now, and we are expecting these types of levels, we need to plan accordingly. We need to treat these altcoins the same way. We can see these altcoins are in downtrends. So what can we do? We can buy these dips and we can sell these pumps, or some of the guys like to say, buy the dips, sell the rips. And we can sell these moves. We can exit on these pumps. The last thing we want to be doing is exiting altcoins on massive support zones where we know balance of probabilities they're going to give us a bounce. So why do you want to exit on such a zone where you are going to get a bounce and some kind of relief rally? So let's take a look at some of let's deal with dominance. Now, while this has all been going down, dominance has actually been flat again. So we've had another situation with BTC bleeding out. And I'm going to say in the old days, because in the old days, it would have felt like we'd have a dominance pump here and they'd absolutely smash these altcoins. But this dominance is just hanging around the whole time, not doing too much. And we just need to keep an eye on this the whole time. So the minute these altcoins are dumping, we got to zoom in on this dominance and see what's going on. But they're being very kind, in my opinion, at the moment to some of these altcoins. And again, that's what the alt traders want. That gives us the alt pumps. This is what the alt traders don't want, is that kind of push on BTC dominance. So generally, if you get BTC dumping like that, you generally get this dominance starting to increase, and these alts get absolutely bled out. So they've been quite kind to us at the moment, but definitely something we need to keep our eyes on. Okay, before I get into some of these charts here, let's see who's hanging out here with us today. I see there's lots of phantom, I think, what do we call this? The opposite of FOMO here. We got guys that exited phantom too early, and now it's ripping today. I mean, can somebody just tell Phantom that we are in the middle of a correction at the moment? I mean, there's a lot of Phantom guys here that got hurt. Dynaway saying Phantom taking off. Fahad's loving Stacks. So Stacks was a chart that I updated today in the Sniper Club, and I'm going to show you these charts that I've updated. There's a couple here that you're going to see on the show, and all these setups were on the Sniper Club this morning. So anyone in Sniper Club who was looking at my section this morning would have had exposure to about 20 or 25 setups potential long setups in good areas, and hopefully, well, they have bounced for now. Hopefully they're going to hold. But Sniper Club traders, if you've taken my setups, now's the time. You can start raising your stops, put it to entry. You now actually at a risk-free zone here. Alex says, what is our play here? Alex, I've got you, bro. We got to play. It's coming. And Greg says, trust the bearded advice. You must always trust the beard that's feared. You must trust it. And I see Traveline is also talking about FTM. So this is the news on FTM. Well, it's actually old news. This is an old tweet. Okay, so they're launching Sonic. And basically, they're saying this thing's going to be turbo fast and all these things. And the old guy, 𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗫, the main guy behind it originally, and all the pumpage and all these types of things. And he's back in the picture. Okay, so now he's back. The gang is back together. They're getting the band back together, and they've put new oil in the car and shined it up a little bit. And now all of a sudden, everyone is saying phantom, phantom, phantom. So let's just take a look at the phantom chart. It wasn't really part of my plan because it's ripping like this. So it's actually nice to see a bit of a pumper on a day like this. So let's just deal with current phantom targets and where we are and what we think is going to happen next. And then I'm going to give you my game plan for the rest of the altcoins that are a little bit sad at the moment. So phantom, right now we are breaking through a nice little weekly band. Okay, so this is a massive zone. We got to bear in mind this is resistance now for us where we are right now for phantom. Okay, this is an area of interest here, and so anything around about this 1.07 to 1.09, you can see we got some candles a little bit higher up here at 1.11. Anything into that region is resistance. So let's see what type of reaction we get here. The bulls know this is what we want to do. We want to just hold this weekly region here, and then we want to start climbing a little bit higher for phantom. And then with regards to fibs, let's see which fibs are in the way here for a potential target. Okay, so there you go. There's your 618. So we know this is now big resistance. Now remember, we've seen ETH, BTC smash the 618, ETH smash the 618, Sol smash the 618. AVAX has not done it yet. Here comes phantom. Okay, and these things are just popping off. You know what's coming next. AVAX, DOT, all these types of things. When the attention is going to move to them, we're going to be looking at those 618s as targets, and let's keep our eyes on that as we go along. So right now, phantom traders, if you are jumping into longs now, you're jumping into a resistance zone, so you need to just exercise a bit of caution. Just understand where you are jumping in, and it's a big weekly resistance. It's a big 618 fib. All these types of things are telling you reasons why we could get a possible rejection here. But the fun part of this whole thing is once we do get that pop, it's going to make a nice little base for us that we can start working from for the next phantom trade. So if you've missed the first phantom trade, and there have been multiple, as you can see, if you've missed that one, there's going to be another phantom trade for us. And at some point, it's going to give us this 48% move. So don't get FOMO, don't panic. And at some point, this thing is going to ping and it's going to reject. It's going to consolidate, and then we're going to take advantage of it. So don't get caught, trying to buy the top of something that could potentially pump, but it could also reject here. And you don't want that feeling. If you've been hurt in the market the last couple of days, the last thing you want to do now is buy the top of the pump. It's going to rub salt into the wounds and make you super salty. So just be very careful here. Jockey says, how high will phantom go? Well, once we blow this region here, the next target is 1.6. So that is my game plan for phantom. Yeah, no reason to exit phantom at any time here. 1.6 is the next potential target. What does that look like? Well, remember, along the way, we could get BTC going down to those lower levels we spoke about. So we could easily also get a situation like this with phantom just chills in some kind of flag for a while before it does anything. So just be patient with it. If you've got a good entry on phantom, and I'm talking good entry as in 67, 50, around about 50, nothing you need to do here. You can just chill and let this thing hold. The current market should take phantom a lot higher here for us when when all the stars start aligning for us. And Mike says, do not get super salty. Do not get super salty, guys. We got to keep our energy, and we need to understand, in this market, we get good days, we get bad days, and when the trend's going well, we trade that trend and we rock it, and when things are going badly, we can see we're in a downtrend, and we just change our game plan a little bit. We take profits earlier, we don't hang on too long, all those types of fun things that we need to just adjust. So I wanted to show you a token here quickly, Say. Okay, so we've seen strength from Sui as well with the dumping, and here is Say. This started getting my attention today. I dropped this one in Sniper Club as well earlier today, and the plan was anything from Say holding this 50-day moving average in 618, and there was a long setup there for 𝗧, so that is looking good at the moment. So if you guys are trading 𝗧, your support that you're watching, it's a nice clear support region here for the 𝗧 traders, 0.817. Okay, we got a nice support base here, 0.817. That is your support zone you want to watch, and then you want to just see how this thing tracks. We're getting quite a good response now. Your levels that you are looking at, as in upside, as in resistance zones, you want to just tackle some of the bands here ahead of you. So 0.93, and then a little bit higher, you're looking at 1 for 𝗧. So watch those type of regions, and again, nice strength here considering the current market situation. So these levels are possible for you, but big support you want to keep your eyes on is this 50-day moving average, okay? And yeah, game plan there, look for that support to hold. If we do dip lower, okay, what is your next plan? And again, this is going to be linked to BTC moving lower. So I'm going to show you this example on multiple charts here, but let's look at BTC. Let's say BTC pumps up here, starts rejecting, and then they start sending us way lower, okay? They start pinging us here at the 60 region and that type of thing. What is your plan for 𝗧? Well, your plan for 𝗧 is going to be looking for your bounce zones at your next region. So remember, you want to be taking profit at resistance areas in these type of situations, and then when we get the drawdowns and the pullbacks, you want to identify your areas where you're possibly going to get a reaction and where's this thing going to bounce, and you want to identify the areas where you shouldn't be selling. Okay, so you're going to be selling at resistance areas. You don't want to be selling when you're dropping down into support regions, because look at this bounce, for example, that 𝗧 gave you guys. So if you were trading 𝗧 today and you were feeling a bit negative and you were getting bled out and you sold the bottom this morning, okay, we're talking a few hours ago, and you sold the bottom of that move. It's pumped now 17% since you sold the bottom near a horizontal support region that you would have seen here on some of these charts here. So again, just a lesson here, when you're feeling super bearish and those type of things and you hating crypto, those are the times where you need to be looking for entries. Those are not the times you need to be looking to sell your bags, especially the spot bags and things like that. You really want to have a balanced approach there on how you exit, and a plan on how you exit. Okay, let's go AVAX. Okay, this is again one of our big dogs at the moment, and you're looking at this thing saying, oh no, AVAX has done so much, and we've had a bleed out now I want to sell, and all these types of things. So the plan here for AVAX, how do you deal with this? And it's a very simple plan. So it depends on your time frame and how long you see this trade. If you're holding an AVAX spot and you agree that over the next 12 months, AVAX is still going to go northwards of 90, 100, those type of things, then you've got no reason to do anything right now. You can just sit back and chill. You can deal with the pullbacks, all these type of things. If you're trading higher leverage or you're sitting in leverage positions, how do you deal with this? When do you exit? What is your plan? Well, again, a very simple system that you can use, and you can apply this to all of your tokens that you are trading. Look for your rising trends. Okay, we can't turn bullish. We can't turn bearish until we lose these rising trends and things like that. So right now, AVAX, you would have been bled out twice in the last 24 hours on AVAX onto the 618 fib. Okay, were you selling AVAX? Be honest. Were you selling AVAX at 55 when you were getting bled out earlier today? Were you panic selling on a support area where you were going to get a bounce? And just be honest here. And what you need to do is just watch these levels, 618 and rising trend here for us. And what does this tell us? This tells us that if we start losing this level, then we're getting bearish. Then we are looking at our next potential level. But until we start losing key supports and rising trends, we can't turn too bearish. Obviously you can turn bearish mentally whenever you want, but the chart tells us we can't turn that bearish until we start losing these trends. So right now for me, AVAX, anything down to this 55, 56 region is a region of support. It's a region of support we need to take note of. So if we start closing under 56, then I would say, yeah, maybe then you want to start looking for exits for AVAX, because then it could be potentially drifting lower. And if you're feeling antsy about the market and you think BTC is going lower, what you need to do for AVAX, for example, is look for when BTC pumps into a resistance area. Okay, so right now it's pumping into a resistance area here in the downtrend, and this is the zone. You're going to look at your corresponding alt and say, okay, BTC has pumped into resistance. This is an area where BTC can now reject. My altcoin is now pumped to a corresponding resistance zone. This is an area where I can TP now. This is an area where I can exit my position. I don't want to be exiting on support. I want to be exiting at resistance rather with BTC pumping. So take a look at that plan, eyes on BTC, and remember with these altcoins, as they break new levels and you get new areas, you can also identify new support regions that you want your altcoin to hold. So for example, AVAX is now trying to hold and reclaim this 382 fib region at 58.9. So this could, for example, be now a stop loss area or a support area for you if you are now in your AVAX position and you've had the bounce, and you can say, okay, we've had a nice little bounce here. I'm not sure what the market's going to do, but if BTC rejects, I don't want to be party to that rejection. Then you can say, okay, cool. Well, here's AVAX. If AVAX drops under this major support here, the 382 fib, then I'm going to look to potentially start cutting some of the position just in case. Okay, so you're just going to hedge and just balance yourself a little bit there. Okay, here is Solana, and I mean, this is an absolute thing of beauty. I mean, it really is. It's so simple here. What we've done here, we pulled out a 786 fib. We tied it into weekly resistance bands, weekly resistance zones. Look at that. It was such a simple move here. No matter how euphoric you are on any token and whatever you're trading, always just zoom out, look at the big picture. Whether you're pumping or whether you're dumping, just zoom out, look at the big picture, understand where you can get your rejection, understand where you can get your reaction. And for Sol, it was a 786 and a weekly where we were always going to get some kind of rejection in that zone. Okay, so now what is the game plan for Sol traders? Well, I've kept things on the weekly for you guys for this particular discussion. But what you need to look out for is now, if the market gets tired, okay, let's say BTC wants to come down and come start pushing that 60K, maybe they want to sweat to 58, 56, those type of levels, we need to understand that Sol might be in some kind of flag here on the weekly for an extended period. We could be sitting here for a month potentially on Solana, and you know, we could come back here in a month's time or whatever and look at this flag that's formed and say, okay, well, that was perfectly bullish, that was perfectly acceptable. I don't know why I was so stressed. And this is now the Sol game plan. So my game plan for Sol, you guys know by now, I'm sitting in the Sol position, which I added to. So you saw on my show, when was it? About a couple of days ago, I set a limit order to buy more Sol at 177. And it's now picked up my limit order. So here's my current Sol situation. Let's just highlight that guy. And here we go. So now I have 245 Sol in this Prime XBT leverage long account, and I'm now hoping, obviously, my entry is now 140. Okay, so if Sol's going to come back to 140, it's really going to hurt my feelings. I'm going to get a little bit salty here. And what I do now to manage my trade, I come look at the chart and I say, okay, where's my big area? Where's my main support zone for Solana? So number one, I'm watching this 236 fib region at around about 78. Okay, 178. And then I've got another big area. I've got some weekly tie-in, and I've got a major 382 pool here at around about 160, call it 158. So I'm now basing my trade on Sol holding this 159 region. So if we dip to the 159 region, I'm probably going to add to that position there to grab some more Solana at 159. That will raise my entry price. And right now, let's just highlight it here. My entry is 140. Okay, and that's going to be a deep burn for me if we go there and they want to kill us and they want to do all sorts of things. It's going to be a tough hold there. So that is my level. It's I do have some support here in this region, this 140, and we got to let things play out now. So I'm going to sit in this trade, and they must come for me if they really must. And we can deal with this together. So we're going to watch these levels together, and they can end me. They can end me if they have to at 140. So we're going to see how they go. So game plan for Sol, you've got the levels now. That's how I'm playing that at the moment. And then Prime XBT, guys, don't forget Prime XBT. You can actually have a lot of fun with Prime XBT, and especially when the market turns a little bit south and things go a bit sour. You can send crypto to Prime XBT and you can trade futures on their account. You can trade the S&P 500. You can trade gold, oil, silver, all those types of tokens using your crypto. You send it there to Prime XBT. So what you can do is go to the description underneath the show here. You're going to see there's a link here for Prime XBT and actually all my other exchanges that I'm trading with. All three are actually non-KYC exchanges that you can trade on and give a try. And Prime XBT are offering a 7% sign-up bonus. And basically what that means is $10,000 gets deposited into your account that you put in. They're going to give you $700. If you put $1,000 in, they give you $70 that you can trade with, and you can spin that up on crypto. You can spin it up on gold, oil, silver, all these types of things. And then the other exchanges as well. WEEX, I've got my bonk order on WEEX that is sitting there. I'm waiting for a little bit lower on bonk, and also great sign-up bonuses, all these types of things. And 2bit, you guys have seen 2bit multiple times, so check that one out and get stuck into those exchanges. And let's hope I don't get rinsed at 140 on Sol. Okay, here we go. Here's Pyth. So Sol Network, it's just an update on some of the setups from yesterday that I'm looking at. So this is how I deal with these things. This is how I look for rejection zones and all these types of things. So here we go. Here is Pyth at the moment. You can see it lost that rising trend that I've just taken away at the moment. But now, what do we look for? We look for resistance areas. We look for corresponding resistance, and we try and tie it into where BTC is currently sitting. So right now, Pyth is sitting at 0.96. Let's just take a look where BTC is, and BTC is pushing into resistance. So you can see BTC into resistance and Pyth into resistance. Now, what happens next? If BTC starts pushing here, are they going to send Pyth to perhaps this 618? So that's what we need to look for, our next rejection area. So rejection area 1 is here for Pyth, 0.955. Rejection area 2 is here for Pyth, 1.02. What does that mean? It means we need to be careful on any pumps. We can't get too excited on any pumps here until we start breaking these big resistance zones. So what does that look like? Well, in bearish conditions, if we're going to get more downside on BTC, it's going to look something along these lines, and you're going to get these pings on these reaction zones. These are key reaction zones where you can pick up trades, you can pick up longs when you're feeling bearish. These are the areas you're going to get, or most likely going to get reactions on. Okay, as long as we're in a downtrend, you can still trade longs, but you need to have a shorter time frame, and you need to take your quick wins and exit when you need to. And when does the position change? Well, the position changes once we start breaking this trend, and then we can turn bullish again, and it's going to tie in with BTC at the corresponding time, breaking its own trend and turning bullish. So number one, let's look at BTC again. What does that look like? Let's say BTC blows this region, and then we start getting something along those lines. Then we can flip bullish on the altcoins, and you're going to see a lot of these other coins that I'm going to show you are going to be breaking their own trends. And then we can look at their supports, and we can start buying those supports again with confidence if BTC starts breaking there. Let's see. I see the guys are saying WIF is flying. Guys, I've got bonk and I've got WIF for you. And let's see who's here in the chats. There's a lot going on. Lots of Sui. Yeah, Sui was strong, so that's why I brought you guys Say, because it likes to follow a bit of Sui action. Let's see. Theta, I don't cover enough. I need to do that. And Diablo says he panic bought AVAX. And Leroy says, I'm never selling. Who needs profits? And yeah, who sold their soul? Look, I'm going to try my hardest not to sell my soul, but at 140, they're going to put me under pressure there. We're gonna have to see how it's going. I see the meme coins are coming alive again. Okay, so let's get cracking through here, because there might be some spicy entries here for you guys. Okay, here was bonk, and here's my plan for bonk. Simple move. I'm still waiting for lower. I actually was waiting for it today on Twitter. I was saying, is bonk coming home to me? And this was this limit order that I set on WEEX that we were waiting for a few days ago, and we got so close. I started getting very excited. Yeah, I thought I was going to come to you guys today with my order filled on WEEX. Remember, I was looking for a buy at this 50-day moving average region and 786, and they didn't hit my buy. So I need to wait now for another day. But what is the plan for bonk on this 12-hour? Well, you can see right now we got to go step by step with bonk. We got to look at level by level. So the bears are going to say, well, that's the end of the pump for bonk, and we're looking at something along those lines. The bulls are going to say, well, fuck me, that was the bottom. We front ran that 50-day MA, and this thing is going to start pumping now, and we're going to blow this trend. So let's see what happens with bonk. I've still got that limit order on WEEX. I'm looking for a buy at that 50-day MA. If we get it, I think it's going to be a great entry here for a lot of tokens. You know, bonk at those levels, we're going to see WIF at potentially lower levels as well, Myro, all these types of things, and I think we're going to get some banger entries on those if we do get that deep. Okay, let's go WIF. Let's see what the here we go. Okay, so this is our second crack at WIF, and I grabbed it earlier off the 618. And what have we done here with WIF? It's basically a 618 play. We've reclaimed the 618. So what did they do? They drifted us down into trend What did they ping? 786. Did you sell the bottom of WIF? Did you sell WIF on support while they were bleeding you out onto major support here, onto fib support? Hopefully you didn't sell the bottom of WIF on support, and you had trend, you had 786, all these types of things. And what's happened here today, it's now reclaimed the 786, and that is again our support marker. So last time we traded WIF, we reclaimed the 786 in this region, and WIF gave us a nice big move. They gave us 40% off that one. Now we have reclaimed the 618 fib. So what I would suggest here, WIF traders, if you are already in your WIF position, your support that you're watching is 2.35. You can see this trend is in play, and no reason to turn bearish on WIF until we start closing underneath these rising trends. So we always keep our eyes on the rising trend. Remember, this is the fun line, and we have fun when we're on the correct side of the line. And right now, the left-hand side is the line that we want to be on. So if we start losing this WIF fun line, it's going to look something along these lines again, and we're potentially going to look at the depths of hell here. But there'll be good buys. I know producer Fred will be buying basically everything he's got. He'll be putting into WIF at $1 if he gets that opportunity. So let's see how that plays out. But right now, WIF traders, this is what you're watching. This is where you need to be. Support, call it 2.4. That is your support region you want to keep your eyes on now for WIF if we're going to hold this rising trend. If we lose the trend, you know what to do. You start looking to cut. You start looking for potential exits, because then things are potentially turning a little bit more bearish for you. So right now, we are good to go on WIF until we lose that trend. Okay, let's do some AI things. And remember, guys, I've got a couple of gaming tokens for you, and I've got some smaller caps to talk about. I don't have their charts, but I'm going to talk about them for you guys just now. So stick around. We've got a little bit more action coming for you, and let's just look at render and try and understand big support zones now again. So we've had a pump, we've had a bounce. Okay, so BTC bounced off a good area, and we saw render respond off some horizontals. It wasn't a clear fib for me. It wasn't clear fibbage and Fibonacci here, but render did have a good response. And what do I like about this major support here for render? Well, there's a couple of things that are interesting to me. And number one is we're looking at this current 10.7 level now. So we've reclaimed 10.7. You can see this has been an area of interest for quite some time. Look at these candles in this region here, and we've reclaimed it now today. So let's look at 10.7 as our first type of pullback zone of interest, our support zone of interest if we're going to stay bullish. And then lower down, where do we look for our next reaction? So let's say the market turns on us, they want to bleed us out. Where's our next impact zone? Where's our next bounce zone? And again, for me, it's going to be around this 9.8 level. Looks like a major reaction. The reason being, I've got a 382 fib here as well on a massive fib pool here. This is a weekly fib pool. That's 382. And then I've got the 0.5 fib as well from a smaller pool in this area. I do have the horizontals, and I believe we've also got some order blocks in this region as well. Look at that. Okay, so we've got order blocks as well. There's a lot of reasons why we'd like to see render hold this area. Okay, so these are big levels for render. If you're in render spot and those type of things, watch these areas. 9.8, watch 9.2 as well. If we're going to lose that, then we're going deep, then we're going dark, and we're looking at somewhere around 7.4 is your lowest sort of level. And I would say that is going to be BTC sub 60 is going to take us to those type of levels on render. It's got to be sub 60 for me. AB says, what song is that, DJ Dylan? So this is Dave. Dave from the Sniper Club, Dave, part of the Sniper team. He's a DJ, and he mixes the tracks for us, because we have to have non-copyright music here if I'm playing it in the background, and he mixes it for us, and it's become part of the vibe. Okay, let's look at Ocean, and I just wanted to give you again another plan. Okay, so here's a trading plan for Ocean, and you can put this and apply this to all of your current tokens that you are trading. You're going to have a similar setups all over the place that you can play around with. So this was Ocean, another AI narrative. Obviously, these have been hot narratives. So these are the ones you want to be involved in when the market does eventually recover. This is what you want to be looking at. So Ocean, number one, what did it do today? It gave us a 786 bounce. So again, another situation. I mean, we were sitting in a Sniper Club private Zoom. We did an emergency Zoom session this morning. In fact, while there's the legend was asleep. Look, he's just woken up. Hello, Bruce. Well, good morning. Are you having some coffee? What's going on there?
I got my coffee. My hair's not even brushed yet.
Well, you missed a lot of action earlier today. You missed it all. You missed it all. But I will talk to you just now. So this morning we did an emergency private Zoom session on the Sniper Club just to help the guys out, because everyone was freaking out. I mean, the markets were going red, all these types of things. And a lot of the questions we were getting time and time again was, I'm opening shorts, I'm selling, I'm doing all these types of things. And the first thing you got to do is zoom out every time and just take a look. Where are you in the big picture? If you feel like you want to be shorting, the market or that trade is probably gone for the time being, because by the time you feel like shorting, you've had red candles, and you're feeling so bearish. So you really need to understand your emotions in a situation like that. And the time for shorting is actually when you are feeling bullish, when you are feeling your most bullish. That's where you're looking for exits. That's where you're looking for sells. When you are feeling your most bearish, like really, when you're hating crypto. I actually posted a tweet today talking about that, saying like the biggest sign of a reversal is when you hate crypto. You want to give up trading, you hate crypto, you want to move on. That's when you're going to get the reversal. That was this morning. Okay, we had these altcoins sitting on supports. Here was Ocean dropping into a 786 fib, horizontals, all these types of things. The chart was available in Sniper Club, and it was there telling you, this is reaction zone number one that I'm watching, that I'm looking for. And this is now going to be our support region. So the plan for Ocean support we're watching 0.948. That is what you're going to be watching. What happens when Ocean pumps, or if Ocean pumps a little bit higher, you need to look for exits. Okay, you need to look for TP. You need to look for exit plans here. If you were the guy that wanted to short this morning onto support or sell your tokens on the support region, now you've had a pump. Okay, now's your opportunity to exit. If you want to exit and you're listening to Uncle Run, and Uncle Run is saying exit the market and whatever he's saying, I didn't watch his show, but I got the impression he was telling everybody to exit shit coins and all sorts of things. Now's your time to exit. We've had a pump. Okay, now exit when it's green. Don't wait for it to be melting down onto major supports. If you want to be exiting, exit on the green, buy on the red. It's a simple thing to say, but it's a very difficult thing to do mentally. Joy Banter says, I never took profit. Typical solution. I mean, typical problem. I mean, you guys saw my soul trade. I'm still sitting in the soul trade. Okay, I didn't take profit. I think this thing was $15,000 or $16,000 up. Now it's only about 10. And, you know, we all feel the burn here of not taking profits. Okay, so there's the plan for Ocean. If we get this pump up and Ocean rejects now, okay, what is the next move? Expect, if we get a rejection, expect the next area to potentially come into play. So we might get another bite on support. We might get the situation. We might get another buy, okay, at this region. But expect that if we lose that level, the next major reaction zone for Ocean is going to be round about this 50-day moving average, round about these horizontals that you're going to be looking at. And that level for you is about 0.81. That is where your long is going to be. That is where you're going to be sending that thing. So keep your eyes on that. And when do I change my mood? When do I turn bullish again? I turn bullish when we start breaking trends. When Bitcoin breaks trends and we start trending higher, then we can say, okay, cool, we've now started a new trend and now we're going to trend up. Okay, but until we've done that, we need to understand that we are potentially trending lower. So you want to sell these pumps, and you can buy these dumps. I mean, that actually sounds cool. Sell the pumps, buy the dumps, whatever, until we've got a trend change here, especially the leverage traders there, guys. Dave Digital says, don't take profits, know your role, exit liquidity. Danish says Nia, he's looking for Nia. There's a couple of guys looking for Nia. Chi says stacks will melt faces. I agree. Anya says sell XRP. I mean, don't even get me started on XRP. I mean, there's nothing to sell. I mean, it's done nothing. It's done nothing for ages. Okay, I've got another AI token for you. Let's take a look where we are. This is 𝗪𝗘𝗘𝗫𝗦. Again, a very strong performer you guys know about. And you want to identify your next juicy zone. Where's my next reaction area? Where do I get my next bounce? Where do I get my next fix? If I'm looking for a move here, and you can see I've highlighted a nice juicy zone here for you on 𝗪𝗘𝗘𝗫𝗦. So if we get this push lower, I'm looking at this 50-day moving average here for potential reaction. I'm looking at horizontals here as well. I'm looking at a 786 fib in this region here. So 600 looks to me like an area we're going to get some kind of reaction here and some kind of bounce. Again, how high is it going to go? It's difficult to tell you in these current market conditions, but you can pull out fibs and identify resistance areas. So if we do get to this low, let's look for a move into that area. So let's assume it does move down into that 786 fib region. You're going to look at a reaction zone or a resistance area where you could look to potentially sell the bounce. Okay, so that is the region where you can sell your bounce. That is the region where you can TP. That is the region where you can exit. So 650. Okay, so you want to look for a bounce at around about 599, 600, and then if we do bounce, watch out, resistance zone 648. Don't turn super euphoric. Understand where your altcoin is. Understand that you are at resistance. Look, where's BTC? What is BTC doing? Is BTC at resistance? And if those two are tying in together and you're feeling bearish about the market and the sentiment over the next month or two, that's your TP. That's where you're exiting, and that's where you're dropping the token. So it's the same principle for all of these tokens. Roth says he's happy that he bought today. You bought on support, bro. You did a great job there. You know, you've bought that bounce. A lot of these coins have bounced 10%, 12%, these type of things. And, you know, well done for you on buying support. Here is a link trade. Okay, Sheldon and I both gave out trades today on Sniper Club. Sheldon gave out the link trade as a signal. I gave out the Gala trade as a signal. And we live traded link this morning on that private Zoom session that we did with Sniper Club, and it looked like a nice little juicy zone here to enter link. The reason being, we had multiple reasons. Number one, we had some horizontals here with link, and we had a 618 as well, and we had a rising trend. There were multiple reasons telling us, even though we were feeling bearish, that we could potentially be getting some kind of bounce, even if it's a short-term bounce, some kind of reaction, something along those lines there for link. So here was link off this 618 region. So support now, I'm watching for link 16.3. You can see why. Nice strong bounce here, 16.3. Phase number one, if we do get a pullback, we're looking for a bounce there again in that region. If that region fails, then your next hot zone for link, and you're looking at about 13.6. So mark that level on your charts, 13.6, and mark 16.3 on your charts. Okay, so here's this link trade that I'm in at the moment here. You can see it's at the bottom. I bought 500 link in total. And let's just see where we are here. And there we are. So there's the current thing. They got nice charts here on Prime XBT. It just feels clean when you're playing around, and it's nice. You can identify your areas nice and cleanly on this. So that's the current link situation that I'm in, and looking for that now to hold a little bit more. What is my target for link? Well, I'm going to be careful here, and I'm looking at this 50-day moving average and this 382 as a resistance zone. So we're looking at 19.2 as a potential target here, as a potential TP zone for this reaction on link. But what we want to see form now as well is we want to understand where this move is going to end. So once the move ends, we're going to have an idea as to what this potential downtrend looks like, if there is one. Okay, so you might see something along these lines at some point. We've got to see where this candle reacts. We've got to see where this candle rejects. And then we could be looking at these type of situations again, lower down on link. So something to look out for. There is a plan there. And again, any bounces that you're trading, look for your resistance zones, look for your exit points. Okay, here's another gaming token that I bought earlier today on this horizontal. This is called Shrapnel. I know you guys in the chats love asking me to chart Shrapnel, and I don't do it enough. And it was just too good. It was too juicy not to pay attention to this thing. It was dipping into this daily horizontal level. This is the Shrapnel daily chart. So DCA buys and things like that. I mean, conditions like this, when you're getting these dumps, if you're trading 3x margin accounts, you're trading spot, those type of things, and you get some of these hot narrative tokens moving into DCA zones, these are the areas you want to look at. Remember, you were trying to buy Shrapnel here at the top, and we were buying these green candles. Remember, try and change the angle. Buy it when it's red. Buy it when it's red on hot reaction zones. Buy it when it's red on good support zones. And Shrapnel dropped into this region here, this 0.25 region, which is a daily support level. We know that we get some kind of reaction there or something going on for Shrapnel. What I would suggest here is, DCA buys. This is your level number one, 0.25. Your next level for Shrapnel, 0.196. Okay, another hot reaction zone, and a little bit lower down, 0.162. Because ultimately, we never know when the market is actually going to reverse. but all we can do is identify hot support zones, hot reaction zones where we can play the game. Okay, and we can play the game on these areas. As it turns out, one of these hot zones along the way that you start identifying could be the hot zone that is the actual bottom of the move, and then the whole token just starts absolutely ripping. So keep your eyes on these levels when you're DCAing. Always watch your big levels. Okay, let's see. Oh, I've got some smaller caps for you as well, and then I've got 3 more gaming tokens that I wanted to show you. So this is Rodolfo. He's one of our researchers. He actually hangs out in the Sniper Club as well. He drops fundamentals and all sorts of things. So follow him on Twitter. He drops great stuff in the Sniper Club. He loves a deep dive. He loves fundamental analysis on smaller caps and all that type of thing. So if you're interested in analysis on those type of things, you get that in the Sniper Club as well. So there is a link in the description for Sniper Club, and join us. You get airdrops from Simon, you get signals from myself, Sheldon, Bruce, David, you get fundamentals, you get all sorts of things, you get a community and all these types of things. So follow Rodolfo on Twitter. He's dropped some gaming coins and some AI coins. Remember, when we have market weakness, what do you want to look for? I mean, look at Shrapnel here. He highlighted at the bottom, 15% down for the day. So identify your smaller caps that you want to play in. When the market is red, that's when you can take advantage of some of these. So here's a nice little tweet from him. He's talking Creo, Shrapnel, GHX, and I think Creo was the next Nakamoto games he's talking about. So that could be a banger. And then AI tokens, Palm, which you've actually seen on my show, and PAL, PAAL, and OPSEC are nice little smaller cap plays that you can try and look at when the market's red. You want to start to get your shopping bag out. You want to start looking at those type of plays. Okay, here's another signal we sent out earlier on Sniper Club. This was the one I posted. It was a gala long, and I just want to take you through my thinking about it and just hopefully teach you guys, because now this entry is bolted. So, right now it's too late on the weekly, but at least if you can learn something from this, that can obviously help you as well. So here's Gala. It's just taken off from a massive level. Why was it a big level for me? Well, number one, we've had a mega meltdown on Gala. So let's just look at the size of the meltdown. We had a 42% Gala meltdown. Okay, so over 2 or 3 days we had this Gala melting down, we had BTC melting down, we had panic everywhere. But what did we pick up? We picked up that Gala was dropping into a massive weekly support level. Okay, so what do we know? What do we know about weekly support levels? Well, number one, we need to know that we want to get multiple weekly candle touches in a zone to call it a weekly support level. I like to see at least 3 weekly touches in a region to tell me that there's strength there, to tell me that I'm going to get some kind of reaction. And look at this cluster of candles sitting in this weekly box here for Gala. So for me, while it was dropping, while the market was bleeding out, dipping into this region, for me it was a weekly zone. It was time that we were going to get some kind of reaction here in the area. Remember, these high impact zones don't mean we bounce here and we go to the moon afterwards. What it means to us is we hit these zones and we get some kind of reaction. Sometimes it's 3%, sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it's 1%, or it floats around for a day and does absolutely nothing. But if you play these high percentage zones and you play these regions, then you can get some great entries on some of your trades. So Gala was a nice little signal that we sent out there. You understand why. Solid zone, market bleeding into a big support zone, everyone feeling bearish. And this was at the same time that people were telling me they wanted to sell their tokens onto major supports, major weekly levels. They want to short onto supports. And if you were opening shorts today, you are part of this bounce right now. Your squeeze and you closing your shorts and exiting your shorts and getting liquidated on your shorts is the reason why we had this 10% bounce here on Gala. So remember, if you want to take a short on something, you need a short strength. You need to short the green market. You don't want to be shorting a red bearish market because you're going to get a hiding. And they gave one today, a 10% bounce here on Gala. Okay, let's see. Let's see who else is here. The Slurf coin, guys. The Slurf coin and this what was this other one? BOMI, book of memes. They got absolutely rinsed. Those two tokens. I saw these meme coins got absolutely caned, and hopefully they will recover. I'm sure they will at some point when the market turns bullish. Okay, quickly, another gaming token here, PYR. Again, I haven't spoken about this one in a long time, but can't turn bearish on these things until we start losing rising trends. Look at this nice little trend here for PYR. What did they give us? 786 fib, horizontal, beautiful bounce. Look at the size of this. And, when you are feeling bearish on support, trend, fibs, all these types of things, PYR came along and quietly bounced 12% off that region, giving you a real exit opportunity. So if you're trying to exit the market, okay, don't exit down there on support. You want to exit when you pump into resistance, okay? And remember, we go level by level. So what you want to see now, okay, we at resistance for PYR. What do you want to see? Pop higher, get support, then we go. Then we can turn super bullish again. But until we're doing that, and we need to understand these big resistance areas are where we get reactions. If you caught the bottom of these moves and you're a trader, you need to take your profits at these big reaction zones, and you can buy your longs off these solid support regions, just looking for some kind of bounce. Here is 𝗪𝗘𝗘𝗫 as well. So 𝗪𝗘𝗘𝗫 is a gaming project that also I don't talk about enough. And this thing seems like quite a nice little project. We've got these nodes and all these things, and I'm not entirely sure how it works, but it's farming and all sorts of stuff. But basically, it prints you tokens, and this is looking good. This is a nice little ecosystem underway. And what did they give us? They gave us a 786, and they gave us a rising trend. So let's keep our eyes on 𝗪𝗘𝗘𝗫 here. We got a rising trend, and look for something along these lines, a little bounce onto this horizontal, and keep your eyes on the zone. If we lose that area, it's telling us we're potentially losing the trend, and you know the drill. Then we are looking at potentially lower levels. But right now, no reason to exit 𝗪𝗘𝗘𝗫 as well. Nice horizontal here, nice rising trend, nice horizontals. So looking okay for us. Bounce wise, you're looking targets, you're looking at 0.106. And, if the market turns bullish, then you'll tackle these highs. But right now, we're looking at short-term moves, short-term bounces, and you just want to play what's in front of you until BTC starts turning bullish again. Then we can start getting more aggressive and all these types of things. Okay, super. Another one to talk about, 382 bounce. Again, another beautiful play here. Getting under pressure here on the meltdown. What do? You zoom out. Where's my support? Where's my fibs? Where's my levels? Do I really want to sell or short my token on major support here? And here's super 1.02. That is your support region that you now got a reaction on. Nice little bounce here for super. So far, so good. But remember, we are now in a downtrend. Okay, so super is in a downtrend, and we are bearish for the short term. Until we start cracking this trend. So what you want to do is let's break it down to about an 8 hour and just try and understand what we're looking at the moment. So you can see here, super is pushing into resistance. Okay, so right now, what do we need to do? Super is either going to reject here, something along these lines, and send us back to test the support one more time, or now we're looking for this pop higher to turn bullish, and then we can break that trend and go. So right now we are at a resistance zone. So if you were long super earlier today, now you're at your resistance zone. If you were trying to sell your bags today at 1 o'clock, at 1, if you're trying to sell your bags at 1 but didn't, okay, now's your opportunity to sell your bags after a 10 or 12% move instead of selling it onto support. Never sell it onto support, rather sell the green. You had a 15% pump. Okay, so if you sold your super bags because you were feeling bearish on support, you've had a 15% pump now, and you're feeling extra salty about the current situation. So again, just a key lesson here for you guys. I really just it's a mental shift that needs to happen when you are trading. And I'm impressed to see 2,370 of you here watching today, because I've always said the best days to come to me are the red days, when you're hurting, when the market is terrible. That's when you need to watch my show. That's when you need to watch Sheldon as well. And when the market's green, you've normally missed the first trade, and the first trade is normally the one where you don't want to watch crypto shows, where you hate crypto and those sorts of things. Those are normally your best entry. So just try and get that mindset right. And we got a long journey ahead of us here. This bull market could run for quite a long time here, and the quicker we get these lessons going, and the quicker you learn these things, the more money you're going to make ultimately. And the more controlled and less panicked and freaked out you're going to be whenever we have these dumps and these type of things. Right, guys, you've got a nice plan here. Let's see what the next move is for BTC. You know the levels, you know the rejection zones, you know what to look for if we're going to turn bullish, you know your supports. Don't overtrade. Don't have massive positions. If your positions are too big, that's why you're getting stressed out. Okay, if you're stressing, looking at your phone all the time at your trades, your size is probably too big. Maybe your leverage is too high, those type of things. And remember, downtrends tell us foot off the gas, slow things down a little bit. We don't have to be aggressive. When we're back in that uptrend, we can start dragging the dial, pumping the numbers, all those types of things. But right now, small positions, test little areas, those type of things. Don't overtrade. Okay, see you guys later.